Hey there. Well, snazzy, huh? Anyway, I just got back from eating out at a place called The Works with about 40 something different burger types. You know, you can make your own, a lot of different stuff. It's really cool. I actually had something called a hunka burger, which is pretty much a burger with peanut butter, banana, and bacon. It's way better than it sounds. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is basically sets, sort of. Not like the box sets I've been talking about, not some of the more ultra expensive stuff, but every once in a while, you know, if cash flow's not as good as you want, and you want to see a few movies, you want to buy some sets, but you know you can't buy the real expensive ones. I've already talked about the Mill Creek stuff, so I want to go and show kind of an inexpensive way you can get a bunch of movies. Not the Mill Creek, like 20 movies or anything like that, but you can get a few movies on a set and feel good about it, and sometimes get some features, and just sometimes just get a really great set of movies. So here's some stuff I'm going to show you that were all inexpensive to buy, and you can find them in your area, and there's ones you don't have, and the ones you want to fill up your collection with. Maybe you want the movies, you don't want to pay an ultra ridiculous price for them. Here's some. Let's start. I'm going to start with an Echo Bridge release. I want the Full Moon Subspecies collection, or I just may get them separately on Blu-ray down the road. But when I got this, I just didn't want to spend a lot of money on because I wanted to see the movies, and it had been a while since I saw them, so there are 3 of them around here. So to get the 3 subspecies movies cost me about $5. Echo Bridge doesn't always hit things out of the park, but I got to say some of their selections have been pretty good, and they've done well by Full Moon by putting out some stuff that it's pretty much kept the, you know, Full Moon's putting out Blu-rays and stuff of those movies and that now. That's great, and you want to get them. But if you haven't experienced stuff like Subspecies or stuff like some of the other Full Moon movies, maybe this is a great way for you to start to decide if this is what you want. And you know, for $5, you get 3 movies. It's basically, it's the trilogy, the Subspecies trilogy. Is there another one? Yes, sort of. It's kind of like an offshoot that didn't really go any farther. I kind of liked it, but these are the main 3. You know, Denise Duff is in these here. Anders Hove does a great job as a vampire. Michelle McBride, Michael Watson was great in the first one. I was really disappointed he did not come back. Agnes Scrim had a small cameo in the first movie as well. Melanie Shatner, Shatner's daughter is in it, and Kevin Spirtas, who he was in part 7 of Friday the 13th. He kind of looks like Christopher Reeve in a way. I find him looking, you may not, but I do find him looking a lot like Christopher Reeve. But anyway, $5, 3 horror films, vampire classics, subspecies, modern day classics anyway. Next up, one I'm not sure if this one's always cheap, but I found it for like $7 at a Walmart once, and I think it usually goes around. It's pretty inexpensive to buy now, but it's the Monty Python, and now for something completely different collection, or something hilarious. Actually, yeah, now for something completely hilarious. And it has 3 movies. 2 of them are Monty Python films, and one is by a guy that worked in Monty Python, and it's a classic. You had, and now for something completely different. Of course, you know, it's a movie. I don't think there's any features, but it really doesn't matter. You're getting a decent movie. Monty Python, The Holy Grail, classic, probably one of their best films. You know, down the road, go buy the big editions if you want, of Holy Grail if you want to, but to get the 3 movies. And a favorite, like kind of like fairy tale-ish movie is the Adventures of Baron Munchausen. This is Terry Gilliam, who of course is one of the members of Monty Python, and it's a great director in his own right. I don't think anybody can deny that one. And it's very well done. I mean, like, it's stunning collections. I've never watched them on here with these sets here. So, you know, I don't know, maybe if it's ported over from a set or something, there may be features actually on some of these things that I don't know about. There may be a commentary here or there, if they just ported over the first disc of a 2-disc set or something like that. But either way, it's a cheap, inexpensive way to get 3 great, fun, inventive movies. Holy Grail's a classic. Monty Python's now for something completely different. was their first and one of my favorites, actually. It has some great skits on it, including the parrot skit and the lumberjack skit. And Adventures of Baron Munchausen is just an amazing fantasy film. $7. The next one is another $5 film, and you'll see this one, or one of its ilk, in and it's an Echo Bridge one released again. And they put out a lot of different stuff. Anyway, here it is. It's the Midnight Horror Collection. They put out a few of these. This one here I picked up because Meridian is a little known full moon film that's a twist on the Beauty and the Beast story, and it starred the girl from Twin Peaks. What's her name again? Sherilyn Fenn, I think. Sherilyn Fenn was in that one. And they also had a really cool one, Demonic Toys, which was like kind of a, I don't know if you can see it well there now, but it was like it's a fun kind of evil toys. It's really cool, much cooler than I can make it sound now. They also had some other stuff on there that I haven't really watched. Witchcraft 3, 13th in the Witchcraft films. I know there's a lot of those, but it's good to have some of them in your collection. They're not the greatest movies, but they're fun watches. Yeah, Evil Bong, not one of my favorites, but some people seem to like this one. And there's some other stuff on there too, but for $5 for 8 movies. And some movies that are actually really good. Meridian is a solid film. It's a really well put together film, really well acted, really well done. And for what it's worth, Demonic Ties is too. I love Demonic Ties. It's a $5 bargain bin at Walmart. Now, if you don't have a Walmart near you, there's probably a similar store with a $5 bargain bin thing. This one I think I paid $10 for, but it was quite the deal. This is the TCM Turner Classic Movies Greatest Classic Films Horror Collection. It has the 1953 House of Wax, The Haunting, Freaks, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So those are 4 great movies, and there are features on these things here. If you look, you can't see it when you go into the store. You just see this because you usually have a slip cover. But when you buy the movie and you whip it open like that, you'll see there's features. Not always a lot, but there's some different things, like The Haunting, by the way, 1960 version of The Haunting is here. Commentary with Julia Harris, Claire Bloom, Richard Johnson, basically the cast and the director. There's great ghost stories essay. Freaks has a commentary by Todd Browning. Biographer David J. Scull, by the way, who does some really good commentaries. I like David J. Scull a lot. He did a lot of stuff for the Universal movies. A documentary on Freaks, a special message prologue added for the theatrical release, and it's a premiere newsreel and theatrical trailers on the House of Wax one. But again, the great stuff for very, very cheap. This one was again about 10 to, yeah, I think it's 10, about 2 for $20. And this was the Marx Brothers collection. Like, there are some great Marx Brothers sets out there, and you can pick from your whichever one of those. But to get the Marx Brothers, just to try them out, if you haven't watched the Marx Brothers before, maybe you haven't, or maybe you just want to know if you want to own them, it's a great way to start it. And again, we'll check out, see if you got features, and it's loaded. I mean, like, this basically is the same as some of the box sets, unless it's a flipper disc or it's a 2-disc set on there. Some of these actually have just as much as some of the sets have it there. There's one called Twisted Tears. There's like 4 movies on it, and I bought the big set, and each one in its own case and stuff like that. But you get the same thing, except for whatever the 5th movie in the box was. On this small set that's now like $10. So I highly recommend it. I think The Hand is on it, and uncut version of Deadly Friend, by the way. This one here is Day of the Races, and there's a crap load of stuff. Cartoons, it's got the whole, like, Warner Brothers Night of the Movies thing. Night in Casablanca, great stuff on it. Room Service has stuff. At Circus has stuff. Yeah, Marx Brothers, like $10. Come on, awesome stuff. This was the one I really wanted, and I got like some of these movies now in their own versions, but I wanted to have them. I kind of wanted to have them. And I got these for 2 for $20, so $10 each. And this is the, again, Turner Classic Movies. And what is it this time? It is the Murder Mysteries one. It has the Big Sleep, Postman Always Rings Twice, the classic edition with got Jan Garfield and Lana Turner. Maltese Falcon, you know I've got the 3-disc edition of that. You've seen my video, hopefully. And way to get a classic Hitchcock movie, Dial M for Murder. Again, I'm not sure. Yeah, the Big Sleep, you went with the 1946 theatrical version, which is cool. If you want to find the other version, you know, it may cost you, what, like $5 to buy another version of it? Big deal. Dial M for Murder is great as a featurette on Hitchcock and the 3D, A Brief History. Postman Always Rings Twice as a documentary. This is what the big one on this one. Postman Always Rings Twice as a documentary, an hour-long life of John Garfield. Incredible documentary. Maltese Falcon has the normal Warner the movies, you know, with cartoons and stuff on it. So, you know, short subjects and that. Again, this is a great thing. I mean, if you don't have these movies, it's definitely worth getting. And well, I have more of these, but here's the ones that I picked out for this one. And the next one up is Alfred Hitchcock. There's a lot of big, expensive Alfred Hitchcock sets out there, and I've got a couple sets. And I'll have sets of the down the road too. But these are 4 good movies. I already had one of these in a 2-disc edition, but I could not pass this up because for 3 that I didn't have. I already have Strangers on a Train in the 2-disc edition. Sometimes I just don't watch the movie. This also had Suspicion, which is severely underrated, by the way, in my opinion. I Confess and The Wrong Man. So there's some really cool Hitchcock films on there. Some stuff that you don't always get or you don't always see in some of the sets. They kind of get glossed over. Strangers on a Train will always get credit for being one of the great Hitchcock movies of all time. But Suspicion is also a damn good movie. But some people think that the ending kind of cops out. And I don't think that was Hitchcock's choice at the time. But either way, Suspicion is a great ride of a film. And no matter how you feel about the way you think it should have ended, I think he did a great job. And again, I Confess, I gotta say, I don't remember I Confess as well. But I do kind of remember The Wrong Man, and you know, I thought that was fun. I'm a big fan of all of Hitchcock's work. So to go for $10, get 4 of his movies, and 4 good ones. I mean, if you don't have Strangers on the Train, you know, grab it. I mean, like later on, yeah, go get the big edition if you can, when you see it somewhere, you get it for a decent price. But right here, Suspicion, featurette before the facts, Suspicious Hitchcock. Strangers on the Train is a commentary with psycho writer Joseph Stefano and Peter Bogdanovich and several other people, plus the master himself in an interview excerpt. I Confess, again, featurette, Hitchcock's Confession, and look at I Confess. The Wrong Man, featurette again, Guilt Trip, Hitchcock and The Wrong Man. And Hitchcock did a lot of movies, definitely, but The Wrong Man. But again, here is another one that you can get for $10. So here you go. $5 for 3 vampire movies, Full Moon. $7 for 3 classic movies, a la Monty Python. 2 for $10 when you can get them on that sale. And I found a couple of the war ones at Excess Cargo, if that's your way. And they may have some of the other ones too, for $3.98 each for these. So look out for that. And of course, in the $5 bin, they keep changing, but this was a good one. Midnight Horror Collection. I did like this one. It has Demonic Ties and Meridian on it. I recommend it for those 2 alone. You will definitely get your $5 worth. Those are some movies you can get for fairly cheap. Beef up your collection. Have some stuff that you can watch when you can't always afford to get the Criterions or the big box sets that you want to get. And after the big Criterion sale, maybe you're gonna have to take it a little bit, you know, take a little bit easy on the stuff. But you still want to buy some stuff, and you still want to get some good movies to beef up your collection on. I recommend some of these. There's some great stuff. Thanks for watching again, and you know, the Honka Burger, pretty good. I was really surprised. It's definitely time for tea because I have to digest all that meat. Yeah. Thanks a lot.